Happy Monday, happy day, happy summer, happy end of June. I mean, we have one more week left, so that's it. Happy Dueling Joe show ending. Happy traveling home from those things day. Welcome to TGL and Grindhead Jim. We're talking about stuff. And I see there's some folks that were looking forward to the show. I was too. I appreciate that. Anthony needs a bit of TGL after a crap day. And so does Bjorn say that as well. Speaking of Bjorn, nothing but love to you and your family. Same with Ted. I don't mean to make a public spectacle of anything, but I want to make absolutely sure that our family's love is with you guys. Hope everything gets okay. It's been a long couple of weeks, guys. And Jones are kind of alluding to it. He says, the cool guy's back. Cooler he was before. That's all technically true. Because, well, the air conditioner hasn't been working in this place for a long time. Longer than I said on social media. But it really starts to, take hold when the summer weather comes in. And it was 80 degrees in this apartment for a long time. I was constantly tired, Lauren was constantly tired. Obviously, Gabby was. We were all taking lukewarm showers and misting ourselves and walking around shirtless if we could or had to or whatever. So that, combined with the fact that, any computer is going to run at a certain temperature, but you put it in those temperatures and try to run it, it's going to go nuts. It's not very good for the system and everything. So we just kind of said, all right, we're gonna try to make it through. And that 1 week where I said I was gonna, it'll be Wednesday, because I thought it was gonna be fixed by then, and it was not. To the credit of the maintenance guys here, they tried everything they could. They cleaned it out, they changed the filters, they refilled the Freon, and they're like, well, I guess we gotta redo the condenser or the compressor. Like, how do you think of this condenser? And they had to wait on the part. When the part arrived, they installed it, and then as soon as they had gotten it, they gave us a portable air conditioner for the night. And I'm kind of like, why didn't you bring this 10 days ago, fucker? Like, we could have used this a while ago, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It was a nice portable unit, and it didn't have anything to drain. It was beautiful, and it gave us some relief. The problem is that I had become very accustomed to sleeping on the couch, during these times, because, I got to go with wherever my body feels coolest. And unfortunately, that was in the living room. And it really has been wreaking havoc with my back the last couple of weeks. That's why I did not go to the DFW Joe show. As much as I would have loved to have been there, hung out with some folks, it wasn't in the cards. And I didn't make any really big proactive plans to hang out with anybody. I knew that I was planning to see people. And I live like 15 minutes from the place. It's not a far drive. It's a straight shot up one state road. It would have been easy for anyone to come see me or vice versa, you know, in terms of travel. My back was not having it. I was, my back's still hurting, to be perfectly honest. So it's been a rough few weeks. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that y'all are glad to see me, and you guys showing up means a hell of a lot to me. So I'm going to catch up a chat here. I see, like I said, Joneser, Ian Sweeney, Manic Plastic Toy Shop, Billy Wifta, Gojatron, Jimmy Salzberg, who says in his best Chief Brody, "Hey, I got it!" Nolan, who's listening in, Robert's Infinite Realms, says, "Hello, Dolly Maniacs and Jim, how's it going?" It's going. It's going. Payne's Toy Samples is here. Jason Garcia is here. Says, "And we are back." Yes. Billy Wifta. His first grandchild is about to arrive into this world, hopefully today, if not early tomorrow, depending on how things go. Congratulations to the Wifta family, for sure. I cannot wait to see pictures of this little tyke. And I'm super stoked. The whole family are toy enthusiasts and pop culture enthusiasts, and I'm sure this kid's going to be no different. And I'm hopeful that TGL will give you a distraction while you wait on the good news, buddy. Johnny Sorensen, commenting on the heat, says that's like Perth, Australia. 4+ months out of the year kills your brain. It totally does, man. It really, really does. TJC is here. Ricky says, "Shirtless Jim." Can I get in on that? It'll cost you. It'll cost you. Now on OnlyFans. Seriously, if y'all want an OnlyFans where I take my shirt off, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll sit around shirtless for money. I don't care. Roman Cardboards here says, "I hope I'm doing better." Absolutely. Yeah, the air conditioner is fully fixed, working better than ever, as a matter of fact. So I just keep waiting for the shoe to drop out on the air conditioning, it not working all of a sudden. But it was great. It's very good. It's good. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Wilhelm Toy and Hobby is here. Hey! Good to see you, buddy. Godron says, "That grandchild we play with Jumbo Machindas before you know it." Exactly. Jason says, "It'll cost you, but we will all pay." That's awesome. Rise of Ronin, huh? I haven't played that. I'm really bad for playing new games, being such a Destiny head. But I do try to diversify as much as possible. A friend of ours came over last week, and we ended up playing Rocket League. He on his Xbox remotely through his phone, me on my Xbox there, and then I was like, wait a minute. Lauren can play out here. I can play in the office, and he can play out here as well. It was going to be kind of fun. We're looking at playing more Rocket League. It'll be fun. And I've played that before, but like playing it in the same room as people, like it, but you know, remind me of like old LAN parties and shit. Was fun. I am glad I got it fixed too, believe me, because again, 80 degrees Fahrenheit's pretty warm for inside of a house. When you got all these plastic dollies floating around, and you know, not plastic doggies and stuff. It's a thing. Ian Sweeney's been playing the same game for about the last 16 years. What, life? Me too, bro. Me too. Twitch streaming for Rocket League? I mean, we could do it. It would be easy for me to do it if I sat at the desk and did it, because like all I have to do is fire up my Xbox or my computer, and I can stream from here, but they would be out there. You wouldn't necessarily be able to hear them, but yeah, I could do that. Absolutely, I could do that. You betcha. So fair warning, this show's not going to be more than an hour long. Retro Blasting's firing up a stream at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and guys, you know me by now. I don't like crossing over with other streams because if people want to go watch, that's totally okay. And plus, there's not a ton to talk about. There's a lot of pre-orders that have gone up that have been announced, that sort of a thing, and I wanted to bring some of them to your attention, some of which you may know if you were at one of these events over the weekend with the Joe Fest in Augusta, Georgia, or the DFW Joe Show here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Others you may not know, or things that came in that you don't know about. It's catch-up day for all of us, okay? 25 Celsius. I've always been horrible with that. 25 C2F. 77 degrees. That's 77 Fahrenheit, and it's a bit warm for my taste, to be honest. I prefer a good 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So 20 degrees Celsius for me is pretty much perfect. So I'll be able to say that from now on. And in fact, that's what I keep my house at, 20 degrees Celsius. It's true. And we like it that way. Dang it. So I do want to kind of show you guys some stuff. Let me get to that. So last week, this went up for pre-order. And by pre-order, it means they already made them and they're shipping them out. That's how Mattel Creations seems to be operating these days. That, of course, being the Motu Origins Night Stalker vehicle, which is still available. I got mine. It's either going to arrive late today or early tomorrow. I think it looks great. It is almost a one-for-one of Stridor with a repaint, but like this platform, the base there is different, of course, and it's more like Snake Mountain. But otherwise, it's a color variant. That's all it really is. But that's all the original Night Stalker ever was either. This is one of the longest lasting Mattel creations of all time, but we shouldn't be surprised because Stridor, the original, was readily available, but went clearance everywhere, went to Ollie's and whatnot, and so why they didn't just chuck this onto shelves is beyond me. For the simple fact that, I guess the reason they would Mattel Creations is for two reasons. One is that, you know, they did say all the classic stuff would end up on Mattel Creations, so that's like, well, you gotta follow through. And two, if you want one, you're gonna have to pay full price kind of a thing, which I also understand. I definitely wanted one. There was never a version of this where I wasn't gonna buy it. Thankfully, I was in a place and time where I was able to get it, and I got it, and we'll get it tomorrow, hopefully, and check her out. Now, also Mattel Creations, which was a revelatory thing today, is the cartoon version of Motu Origins Too Bad. So you get Too Bad, which is the merger of Tuvar and Badra. It's a multi-pack. So you get two full figures, this mirror thing, and the torso that makes Too Bad. So you get all the parts, but these are clearly the cartoon version. So they've made this torso and waist, which we've already seen on an upcoming Ninja Turtles of the Universe, Masters of the Ninja Turtle Universe, whatever the fuck they're called. They have Bebop and Rocksteady on a two-headed thing. This is clearly a Motu Origins torso. So they're getting their cake and eating it too. So they're not going to do a cartoon version of this character, it doesn't look like, except for this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And it looks like we'll get the regular Motu Origins one later on Mattel Creations, which is fine by me. I don't need to pay $50 for a 2-pack of figures I'm only going to use in the combined form anyway. That mirror accessory I don't care about. The cartoon version I really don't care about. The box is nice. So again, we're paying for a nice box here, folks. These are two, you know, at most $15 figures with an extra torso. So let's say it's $5 for the torso, so it's a $35 thing. The rest of the money you're paying for is the goddamn box. So what this shit's always about. All right, and don't get me wrong, it looks cool. It looks real cool for what it is. It's not for me, and I'm not even going to bother with it. So if you're looking for an Origins Too Bad, don't go nuts. Don't buy this. Just wait. The regular old Too Bad is going to come in a non-cartoon form, or else Mattel are liars. And so far, everything they've said is going to happen has come to pass. So that is a thing. That is a thing. So don't worry about it. Shanger says, yeah, what's up, my dude? Not the temperature in this house, that's for sure. Salzburg says 77 Fahrenheit is his jam. Fair enough. Outside with a breeze, I wouldn't mind that at all. Wouldn't mind that at all. Okay. Jay, talking about the Night Stalker saying they had the tooling, so why not? Exactly. There was no reason for them not to do it. In fact, I wouldn't have been surprised if they took back all the Stridors that didn't sell and then just repainted those, which would have been fine with me. You know, whatever you need to do. Turtles of Grayskull. Thank you, Bjorn. Nolan says the 2-bad's pretty awesome, but the price is a bit high. That's the thing. It's those 2 characters with an option to become 2-bad, and they're cartoon versions. So it's like, I see this though. They're, you know, they're trying to get their cake and eat it too, and it's pretty smart, to be honest. They're gonna get a lot of panicked like people to buy this. And then when the regular one comes out, they're still going to get the money from everybody else. So, yeah, exactly. Like, I love it really cold, and then I put a blanket on. I'm like Charles Xavier most of the time. Some shows, I've had a blanket over me. You know, this show not so much, but I certainly have. Johnny says, 1 bad, so sad. 2 bad, so great. Yes, yes. He's like, buy this done, yeah. Boba Hicks in the Hizoo. Nice to see you, sure. Sure. Did you say yes, sir? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Aw. Appreciate you, Joneser. It's good to see you, buddy. Codatron says, Tuvar and Badra. That's some Otto Octavius level naming. It is. It really is. Too bad. It's too bad. All right. So those of you that were out of town and went to these shows, or maybe you heard of these things through the grapevine, or didn't know this happened, there are more coming. So Valaverse announced a night force, a nighttime Senshi 1/12 scale for Valaverse. So he's like the samurai of the group, but this is the Night Ops version, which looks pretty cool. I like it a lot. I almost like it better than his regular variant. And this is an exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store. I saw some scuttlebutt online. They're like, well, why don't they have silencers for both? Well, that silencer obviously fits this or this. So the silencer is an exchangeable, which I like. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great looking figure. I don't know how well it's going to sell. I don't know if people like the variants that much, but I'm a sucker for, you know, like you got a samurai themed character doing ninja kind of shit. I think that's kind of cool. And Bjorn was at Joe Fest and said, I didn't even know about the Night Force version until you got back. Okay. So there you go. So it's out there. Get you one. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on pre-order if you didn't know. So you got Sidewinder and Atlas and the original Senshi, which it's a great, the deco on the original is really good too. So I think it's worth having both, because I'd like to think that this guy would have a squad, you know. Colonel Siege, which there was some problems with his ID card, calling a Marine a soldier. Thank you, the guys at Valaverse, for fixing that before going to production. I really appreciate that personally as a Marine. But there's a bunch of stuff here, and you should check it out. Did I order the freaking Praetorian? I don't know if I ordered the Praetorian. Guess what, guys? You get to watch me do this live. Just in case I didn't order a Praetorian. Now I have. Woo-hoo-hoo. See, that's what it's all about right there, this show right here. So, in other news with this stuff, Operation Monster Force, which is Fresh Monkey Fiction. This is a deluxe version of the Kilowog. It's like a huge, crazy werewolf figure with pretty insane amounts of detail, but it's $80. Given how much their figures tended to cost, this is a bit much to ask in my opinion. You do get a lot of great accessories for that money, but it's out of my price range. I also found out that a bunch of Monster Force stuff has been reslated for August of this year to arrive. Hopefully that's actually accurate and not just pushing it back. So I do hope that that's a sign of things to come. I got several emails today from them. So a bunch of mishmash stuff after this, but I'm going to catch up with you guys. Robert says, looks like Night Ops. I like Night Ops, so I'll pass on it. Regular version looks a lot better. Won't say never. Yeah, I think the original version looks better, but Night Ops is just cool. Not to mention the fact that if I don't want him to be Night Ops, I can just put an extra head on there and have Night Ops whoever. So it's like, it's kind of cool. Bjorn says, the Big Bad Toy Store guy made a pre-order go live during the Eagle Force panel. Yes, there's some Eagle Force stuff out there too, what I'll be showing. We do too, otherwise he's Colonel Crayon. So, okay. So there's some Marvel Legends stuff interspersed throughout here. I did not organize this stuff. I apologize in advance. And Gojatron says, don't hold your breath on Fresh Monkey release dates. Dude, I don't hold my breath on any of these release dates, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, I get it, man. I mean, for the folks at home, me and Jimmy Salzberg are like two peas in a pod. I ain't gonna worry about shit. We're brothers. We pick at each other all the time. It's totally okay. I got an Iwo Jima over my shoulder. I'm good. You know, I'm fine. All right. So, this Moon Knight went up as part of the Strange Tales line. And if I had any notion that this was going to be a Moon Knight that came out before I bought the one that I got, which was itself a reissue, I'm going to be honest, I probably would have bought this one instead. Because this is much closer to the Moon Knight that I fell in love with. I don't see a reason to get him. And if I really want to paint mine with the gold spangles, I can do that. And this is one of these waves where they have Damon Hellstorm, which is very tempting for me. They have Dracula, they have Moon Knight, Bloodstorm, Lilith, and Voodoo. So basically, give me Moon Knight and Hellstorm, maybe Dracula. But for me, the Blackheart Build-A-Figure is very tempting. But if they're doing the Build-A-Figure, he'll eventually come out as a standalone, just like they would Fix-It and a couple other things. So it's, you know, it is what it is. The Damien Hellstrom, it's Damien Hellstrom. What do you want? It looks great. I love the reboot of this comic in the 90s, which was printed on parchment, which I thought was neat. This is one of those characters you either know who they are or you don't. And I love this character. And I'm anxious to see the guy, you know, on a, you know, in a box and stuff. It's Damien Hellstrom in a box. It'll be fun. For the deep cut comic people, this is probably a pretty cool line. I definitely have ties to a lot of these characters for sure, but it's not must have. And plus, I'm making with space continuing to dwindle, I have to make harder and harder choices. There was a time where I would have bought the whole wave sight unseen. I even thought about it. I might even just wait till Nerdzoic gets him in stock and just buy the Build-A-Figure flat out for $100. You know. See? Deep Cut Comics. Salzberg says, this might bring me back to Marvel Legends, right? It's a really, really good wave. It's a really good wave. You can't mess with your friends if the friendship is boring. I agree. See, he says, Marvel horror. I'm kind of in. Like, exactly. Johnny Sorensen, on the other hand, says that Black Start looks meh and says Toy Biz did it better. Fair enough. And this is kind of where I'm at, Gojatron. If Damon and Dracula were Bronze Age, you'd be in, don't like them. Yeah, they're not perfect. They're definitely not perfect. I'd have to get like soft goods for Damon, and the Dracula does not look like the Dracula from the 70s that I liked a lot. So really, for me, if any of them, it'd be Moon Knight, and even then, that's just a double dip on a paint job. So I have to look at my Moon Knight and make a decision, you know. Robert says, that's exactly why they don't tell you, Jim. I'm only locked on Dracula. Hellstrom I'm going to pass on. I hope to getting a classic down the road. Moon Knight is passing on. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll probably, Like, I can see my Moon Knight down there. You see in the black and white right there. There's enough of a difference that I might double dip, just so. Just let's face it, I want the one with the gold on it. I do. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I might. Anyway, getting back to pre-order. This is something I didn't even know was coming out, but it's super cool. If you're a horror fan, you might dig this. Pumpkinhead 1/12 scale from Syndicate. Now, this is a 9-inch tall figure because Pumpkinhead's a big fucker. So the larger price point, plus it being from a smaller company, I don't mind as much. I really like his look. It's very accurate from the film. Looks like he's got a couple different heads that they're rocking here. This is a really cool figure. Like, really cool. And it captures 3 best expressions, in my opinion. He's got some alternate hands, and he's cool. He's tempting. He's very tempting because I have all these other horror icons in 112, and I have a lot of 112 and other things. It's like, Pumpkinhead eating people's heads off. Be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. Ooh, they got this splash page, which is really neat. So you got like this cool box, very NECA-esque. Like they're clearly trying to like rip off Mecha a little bit. NECA, excuse me. 38 points of articulation. That's not bad. And the tail bends and is posable. That is cool. All right, this is very cool. This is a nice piece. If it was 50, I do think that people will probably be more on board with this, but I think by and large this is pretty good. I did not know these guys were a thing. I didn't know anything about this company before. They do have something else. They have the Werewolf from the Howling. Spoilers. I didn't know this was a thing. This is cool. And this is $50. He's 7.25 inches tall, which makes sense. He's got 34 points of articulation. So there's a variant head sculpt that's not shown for some reason. But that's cool too. So you got 2 pretty good, I'd say B-tier horror icons coming. That's not a bad figure. They're expensive, but you're getting a nice toy, it looks like. Jason Garcia says, speaking of down there, is that a fallen toy behind the T-Rex? Yes. My Detective Batman, which is on card. One of 2. I have 2 of these, if not 3. That one was sitting where Green Lantern is sitting right here, and he fell off, and he's just kind of sitting back there. I just haven't gone back to get him for a while. He's been back there a while. But yes, it is. He says, classic Hellstrom was superior. This one looks like a generic store manager. I mean, you're not wrong. And Salzburg and Nolan both saying that Pumpkin looks pretty badass. I agree. And you never notice how much he looks like a xenomorph. Yeah, I think they modified some sculpts a little bit and went a bit nuts. And I also think Xenomorph probably influenced Pumpkinhead, and I think Pumpkinhead in turn influenced the creature we got as the human-alien hybrid from Alien Resurrection. So I think it's kind of weird where it all kind of goes, if you get my drift. Like, you know, when you have the same people doing it, like there's going to be similarities, I suppose. Yeah. Ghostron says Batman succumbed to heat stress, no AC in that cowl. I'd love to say that's true, but he fell well before the AC stopped working, or at least before the heat outside became too much for the AC to handle. He's been there since before my birthday. So, just saying. It's been well over a month back there. Pre-orders that are also up, you've got the original 54 Gojira. There's a 70th anniversary colored special. Yes, I pre-ordered it. Am I going to end up with it? I don't know. But it looks really great. I like this little flight stand that comes with it. It has little planes and stuff. He's got his heat ray and stuff. This is really neat. 70th anniversary stuff. This is very cool. It's a very nice piece from Monster Arts. It's probably going to get one. And speaking of Godzilla, I want to shout out to Mr. Gojatron, who sent me this Bandai vinyl Godzilla 84, aka the Return of Godzilla toy. There we go. Complete with his little cross eye and everything. It's a beautiful 5 POA figure. This is my favorite Godzilla. Hello. There we go. My favorite Godzilla of all time. Easily. Final Wars is right up there. And he also sent me along the first version of Arnim Zola from Marvel Legends, because he got that Zemo Zola 2-pack, which I said I was passing on because I already have a really good Baron Zemo. Like, I don't need that, but the Zola would be a nice get. And he's like, well, I already have the Zola. I'm going to get that and send this along to you. So he sent these both along for me, and I really, really appreciated it. And I've been playing with them the whole time since I got them. I just brought them in here to show them to you guys. I've been out in the living room just playing with them all day. True story. It's fun. Yes, Godzilla -1 is absolutely a must-watch. Best Godzilla film, honestly, since the first one. And that's not even a joke. Ted! Much love to you, brother. Hope you're doing all right. Good to see you. Jason Garcia says, one of the few monsters passing on, so you have 254s already. That's fair enough. It's fair enough. Zola versus Zilla fight. I mean, we all know who's going to win. Us. That'd be fun to watch. That'd be fun to watch. Okay, now, what I'm about to show you are a couple Manzinger Z pieces that have been out before, but I guess they're getting a second shipment of them. So depending upon what you're into, you may want these, you may not, but these are things that definitely piqued my interest because these shot up in value after they came overseas the first time last year, and to get these at regular price is a big deal for me. So this is Manzinger Z. These are 2 7-inch figures. I don't think they articulate at all. They're just statues, basically. But I just want a Manzinger Z, and having an Aphrodite as a bonus, and for the pair for $60, I don't think that's very bad at all. Considering like they're important to me, right? But they also have this 12-inch light-up figure that's just Manzinger Z, right? I don't know that he has any articulation at all, but he sure looks cool. You know, I don't see him moving at all, but it's cool. Oh, it does. Okay, it does. The forearms turn 360, hands turn 360, shins turn, and the arms go. So he's like a 5 POA, but just, you can twist a few things and move his arms. Huh. All right. And that's roughly the same price at $70. So it just depends upon what you want out of a Manzinger figure, right? But they're both there, and they're, given what these Japanese-based things tend to go for, I wouldn't sleep on it if you have interest in it and you need to save some money. So I wanted to bring them to your attention. Thought he had me near the end. My breath smelled worse than his. Yeah, Manzinger Z, when it was Transor Z here in the States, I watched that through elementary school. It was on for like a year or two when I was like in 3rd, 4th grade, I think. 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. I'm a little older than you, so. Just a fun show. I love the damn thing. I made my version of the little scooter thing out of, I think, Legos at one time. Like, I used the hinges, did the whole thing. I had a lot of fun with it. I always wanted toys from that. Didn't have any idea what it was. Going through, I did see that there are still some Night Attack Stingers with driver set for sale at $100 for pre-order here. Depending upon how you feel, you're either going to get this or not. If you're a classified person, you may or may not get this, but it is still up for pre-order if you've missed it and you thought you missed out. So it is there. Lots of great blast effects. You get a $20, $25 figure plus all this. I figure that's $30, $35 the way they tend to charge things, and they're saying this is worth $65. I'd say closer to $50, but they price things the way they freaking want to anymore. You had the big plastic toy. Oh, so you had the Shogun Warriors version. I would have loved to have had that, man. That would have been the best. This is a Mad Marauders version of Sergeant Slaughter that I have zero interest in. He looks cool. I have the OG one that they put out a couple years back. Y'all remember the debacle on that. But he's got some accessories that I like. So he's got these dumbbells. He's got, you know, the itty bitty ditty bag, which I adore. The boxing gloves. This is a cool set, right? If you didn't get one before and you want a Sergeant Slaughter, this is not a bad one to get at all. But it is not for me. It's not for me. But it is still available. Someone said all this stuff looks great, but out of space. I get it. Rob's getting seriously bored with classified. I'm getting there myself. There's very few figures left for me to get. Most of them have already come out or have been announced. And once I get those, I'm pretty much done. Knights of Old has a few Manzingers, but prefers Grendizier. Definitely not a bad loadout for Sarge. I have a feeling this will start to go down in price at retail because he won't sell as well. And if that's the case, I will pick him up on clearance for like 15 bucks, 20 bucks. Because just for the accessories, frankly. Just the itty bitty ditty bag would be awesome. Yeah, Bjorn says he only needs Alpine. He's done. Alpine's coming. So I think you're in good shape, buddy. You know, he's one of those ones that I'm holding out for too. So now we move to some in-stock stuff. Now, if you wanted a Marvel Legends Blob figure, you probably already have one. But they do have him in stock at the exorbitant price of $80. This was a $60 figure when he came out, which was already too expensive, and now he's 80 bucks. So I'm not buying him at that price. I would love to get my hands on one, but I'm not paying that. I just will not. I will not. But he's there. If you really want one and 80 bucks is reasonable to you, you go right ahead. Reptilax from Motu Origins just came in stock. He looks good. He's a bunch of repainted parts, but he looks awesome. Mine's on the way, along with some other stuff. Looking forward to that, but he's in stock. You can get him. You can get him. Also in stock is this Legacy United Generations Selects Autobot Multi-Pack. So you get all these guys, man. You get Sunstreaker and Jazz and Trailbreaker and Wheeljack and Hound for 110 bucks. There's 5 guys for that. It's about 22 bucks a pop. That's not a bad price. Unless you already have some of these, which I don't. I did pre-order this, but decided against it because I had other priorities and, you know, not just with toys. Decided against it. But these are very, very cool boys. Very cool looking boys. And I would have loved to have gotten them, but it is what it is. And I'm sure these will come down in price, because if they're not selling out this fast, that means they're probably going to be on clearance somewhere eventually as well. But if you want them, they're there now. This Mezco 5 points, I remember covering this on the show, was very excited for it at the time. Now there's been so many other comic book accurate options out there. I'm no longer interested in these. But if you want them, you know, little 5-point guys that are about 3 3/4 inch tall, so they actually scale perfect with superpowers. And GI, and to a lesser degree, GI Jokes have to be a little bit shorter in the comics. I think superpowers need to be perfect with. For 65 bucks, that's a lot to pay for 4 figures of that stature and articulation. It's not great, but they are good. Robert says Alpine and Cobra Commander may be my end. Yeah, the Cobra Commander is a definite for me. We all knew they were going to get a release on RetroCard with that. That's the one I want for sure. I have the first Cobra Commander they did, and he looks great. But to have an OG, more accurate one was more important to me. This Garcia says that Blob's more expensive than a pair of his pants. Fair enough. Exactly. Blob was overpriced to begin with, and then that's not cool. Yep, it's all cartoon deco, which makes it extra appealing to me. So it's like, oh, well, these are perfect. And the price isn't bad. By any stretch of imagination on that 5-pack, I think it's a great price for those guys. They look wonderful in both modes. You know, it's not a bad price at all. But I hope they go down because I can't afford them. Mezco did these more articulated, super duper painted ones too. Yeah. The nicer painted ones I've seen, but they were cool. You know, Ted was at a Target, had a Lego transforming Optimus Prime. I've seen that actually. It's weird. Bjorn got to meet Seth Green at Joe Fest. He's very small in person. He's always looked small to me. I'm not sure what you expected, but yeah, that guy's pretty small. This is, again, when things are in stock, I tend to look at things that I've pre-ordered. I'm like, oh, this is in stock. Wow. So I have this coming from Amazon, but to see this here, this is a Multiverse Mr. Freeze, so it kind of owes a little bit to Superpowers, a little bit to the comics, a little bit to the animation, a little bit to the movies. So it's a nice mixture of all those designs into one kind of cohesive, and he could pass for just about any version of this figure you want, short of having, you know, the visage of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But he's good. He's good. So we got that one. Comic book She-Hulk, which is, I honestly think does a great job of capturing the mid-80s She-Hulk that I really love and fell in love with as a character. I'm looking forward to seeing customizers take this costume and repaint it to be her FF outfit, because it's exactly the same outfit down to the stripes. She's going to change these to blue and put the 4 right there. And I would love to have 2 of these and have both versions. That would be the best. But she's there. She's a great figure, and do not sleep on this one. She's very cool. Now, you Eagle Force guys, there's some stuff that came in. There's a whole couple of different waves of these. You can just get the whole damn wave if you want, and the individual figures. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but this has got Captain Eagle, Sergeant Brown, Nemesis, Riot, Shock Trooper, Maverick, and the Killer Warg. But these are great sculpts, man. But 6 figures for $160 in this scale is a bit much to ask, in my opinion. But they are pretty goddamn awesome. It is what it is at this point. If you want really high detailed, 3 3/4 or 1/18 scale in general, you're gonna pay the piper at this point. Whether you're paying overpriced prices for Hasbro or paying a pretty penny for, truly, well featured and lots of extra parts like this. So they're there, but I know that they, with it comes a certain degree of price point that's a bit difficult for me to swallow. So last 2 things I want to cover before we go into Q&A and wrapping things up. We have the Tales of Suspense Retro Collection Model 1 Gold. So I have the Model 1 in gray, and I can confirm it's a great figure. This is really cool. So if you want to recreate the OG Avengers cover, you could easily do that with a lot of the figures on the market, and then this one would kind of finish it out. And the Tony Stark head is really nice on this one. So I don't know if I would sleep on this. This is a nice to have. If we had extra money, this would be a nice to have. And I think he's very good. Don't sleep on it. Last thing to go over for you overpriced statue fans. This is a 10-inch limited edition bust from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla of the G-Man himself on a plume of fire for no reason. Why they wouldn't just make his neck the base and then make the whole thing 10 inches, I don't know. So you get about a 7.5-inch bust out of it for $180. It's a bit much for my taste. It's very cool, but it's not for me. It's not for me. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what you may have missed, what you may have forgotten about, get you guys a little bit excited for the future. So, let's see there. Lego Bumblebee is also coming. Of this, I have no doubt. Can't wait for the She-Hulk. Yeah, it's going to be great. Chest is a little small for the drawing. I mean, you might be able to get away with it for a, like if you did a water transfer decal of the 4, would probably work. If it was a solid one. That way you could just bend it, right? Johnny ordered the John Byrne She-Hulk a while back. She'll get it next month. So awesome. Rob wants to get the Eagle Force, not Red Shadows, Red Shadows. Yes. Yeah, World Minute Cardboard is a ton of fun. That guy. I love that guy again. I could talk to him for hours. I'm glad you got to meet him finally. The Godzilla head's blasting off to space. Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird. I must go. My people need me. Knights of Old ask how the Destiny finale was. Well, it's not the Destiny finale forever, right? It was the finale of this first 10 years. And they were smart to frame it that way because they want the game to keep going. So I will say it was an ending very much worth the 10-year wait. It really did the game and the investment of time justice. The campaign was a lot of fun. The new powers were a lot of fun. They did a great job of fleshing out this final battle and making it something that wasn't just an individual triumph, but a group triumph, without going to game mechanics and crap that you won't care about. When you go through the campaign, you cannot have more than 3 people in a fire team. When you go into the highest level stuff, you usually can't have more than 6. The final story mission, which came out a week after the expansion launch, it was open for everybody. You have a 12-man fire team. And then now they've made it where you can replay this and get crazy awards and all this stuff. But it was really well worth it. It was a lot of fun. I'm still having fun playing the game, even after the fact, and I'm curious to see where the story goes. But I am very satisfied as a decade-long fan of it, as far as story goes, and whatever happens from here should hopefully be just as much fun. And I'm curious to see what they do with world building and storytelling with lessons learned over the last 10 years of what they have done. So I think it could only be better from here. Thank you for asking. Ian Sweet says, I only pre-order that he currently has is the on hand is the Vintage Collection Mandalorian Judge. Okay. Right on. Right on. Oh yeah. Me too, Bjorn. I always got stuff on pre-order. But you guys know how I do things. I pre-order anything that I'm remotely interested in. And then when they come in, I make the decision, do I keep it or not? And sometimes something will come along. They had a 3-pack. Let me find it real quick. I'll tell you what it is. Because they might still have it up, and if they do, you really should buy it. If you're a Motu fan. Yep, they do. Here we go. So, one day, they had this... this 3-pack was down to like $30 or something. It was pretty cheap. It's $55 now, which is not awful. But this is the Master of the WWE Universe. You get Stone Cold, Rey Mysterio, and Chyna. And the Stone Cold I already had because I used him for a custom, but it'd be nice to have him around as like a filler piece. The Rey Mysterio stuff is good because the wings are bigger and make sense more for a Stratos. And then Chyna, well, it's just Chyna. It just looks cool. She's Chyna. So I got those for a really, really good price one day. In fact, I paid $32 for the 3 of them. So I paid less than $11 a piece for each figure. So for me, it was totally worth it. And then you also get the points and stuff. Dolls Out Drugs in the house. Nice to see you. He says, yeah, it was worth the sale price. Yeah, I had to get it. You know, when I told you about it, you think I wasn't going to buy it myself? You're kidding me. Had to have it. You met Bobby and Ryan and Chad and Quentin Bedwell. Nice. Yeah, I really wish I could have made it, but I wouldn't have been able to walk 20 feet through that place with my back being the way it's been. You know, that's... When it's like that, I just can't do it. Some days... I don't feel any pain at all, and some days it's like my whole body's pulling my back out. It's weird. Ian Sweeney says, the heat's been getting to me. An Amazon parcel arrived for me on Sunday, and for about 30 seconds I had no idea what it could be, despite ordering it on Saturday afternoon. We get that feeling in this house, because sometimes around 1 a.m., after some of the halflings leave for maybe a couple glasses too many, she and I'll get a bright idea to get something, and we'll get it, and I'll show them, what the fuck is this? Then you open it, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, All right. Because sometimes I have stuff in I have wish lists on Amazon, and I have my Amazon cart, and I save for later constantly. And I'm always looking to see if the prices fluctuate. And if something gets into a price range where it's really reasonable or a steal, I grab it because it's like, well, I've been watching this for a while and the price didn't go down. Like, for example, that's how I got Belloc and freaking Marcus Brody back there. Got them for like $25 or $29 or something. Because those were must-haves for me, but I saw the prices fluctuating, so I waited. So like one of the things that I grabbed over the weekend, and I keep forgetting that I got, was a Blu-ray of a film that I'm really into called Red State. If you know anything about it, it's a great movie. Kevin Smith did it, and it's the furthest from a Kevin Smith movie I've ever seen. It's one of probably the best film he's ever done or probably ever will do. I really, really enjoyed it, but it had such a really short print run on these Blu-rays. And by the time I decided I wanted to get the Blu-ray, their secondhand market only, except in rare cases where you can find it sealed, and it's like crazy amounts of money. And I actually found it for like original retail price last week, and I grabbed it. Yeah, I get that, man. And even if it was something that you even if you hadn't had to cut things short, I get it too. But I hope things are as well with you as they can be, brother. I love you to death. Yeah, I think it's a great film, and to have it on the shelf is good because they don't stream it anywhere. This is why physical media will always be king, in my opinion. Always keep a Blu-ray player around, folks, and always buy the stuff you like. Because you never know what they're going to cut out of the film. You never know what they're... you never know what special features you're missing out on. Hell, even the sound mix might be wrong. Like the Terminator. They have a great surround mix for the Terminator, but they switched out a lot of the Foley that's in there because they weren't stereo sounds. So unless you listen to the original mono mix, you're not going to hear the sound effects that were in the original film. And we're lucky that that's out there, but there's a lot of movies that get these upgrades that they never give you. It's kind of like the whole original trilogy Star Wars crap kind of stuff. Yeah, Smith toured that film for a year and made his money back and then some, and then just it was his thing to do. Like he went to Sundance, and he made this big deal about how he's going to auction off the movie to the right bidder, and standing ovation for the film. People were clamoring for it, and it's like, and the producer goes, "I opened the bidding." And then Kevin Smith said $20, and the guy said sold. He bought his own movie. He says, "I'm gonna bet on myself. Fuck you guys. Fuck all you critics and shit." And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Demolition Man could come true. Do you want to use the seashells? No, I do not. I want to have to use the seashells. I do not. I struggle enough with the tools available at my command. So. We are wrapping up. Is there anything you guys want to ask about or anything I may have missed reveals at any of these shows you want me to talk about? Now's the time. We've only got a few minutes before I got to get off here. Ian Sweet says, of interest to at least one person in the chat, I got a crate of 18 cans of Dr. Pepper for £5. That's cheap, even with the conversion. And yes, I'm sure Bjorn would love that Dr. Pepper. Was it the movie The Walrus? Movie of the Walrus is called Tusk, which is, a lot of people don't like it. I love that movie. I have to show Lauren that. Jason says, time to get a bidet. We have bidets, actually. We do. And it was Lauren's insistence, because she's had them for a long time. She swears by them, so we had to get more. So we did. Bjorn's like, Dr. Pepper? What? Huh? Ricky says, my new mini PC with the Ryzen 7 5800U arrived. Thing is nice, handles a lot of emulation with upscaling perfectly fine. That's awesome. I would love to hear where you got that and price range, stuff like that, because that sounds great, man. Ted's getting that place where a bidet sounds really sounds continent. Yeah, well, the fact is that, you know, no matter what, you're never going to feel cleaner. And you'll spend a lot less on toilet paper, I'll tell you that much. Ted says Tusk's a good movie. I agree. Jason says it's only off movies Joe hosers. Yeah, it kind of, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yes, I did hear about this, but I didn't see a lot of press on it, like just like a bunch of like pictures from the show. So yes, Fresh Monkeys resurrecting Cops and Crooks in 1/12 scale, and what I've seen is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's one of those toy lines I always really wanted to get into as a kid, but now looking back at the characters and stuff, I'm like, I don't care. The reason I wanted to get into it is I loved the villain character in the cartoon. Yeah, see, yeah, cops, yeah. I can make that voice on my own now. I don't need the fucking toys, but they're cool, you know. It says on sale for $2.99. Send it to me on Instagram, Ricky, because you won't be able to post it in here. But send me that, because that's cool. Oh, you're going to be convenient. It is convenient. Believe you me. It is very nice. There it is. Thank you, brother. Bjorn says, are there chances they'll come up before the Dime novel Legends versions? Fair enough. I don't know. I mean, with all these boutique toy companies, y'all know I know a little bit about this. A little bit. There's so many moving parts, especially when you're a smaller toy company. I take all this with a grain of salt. Fresh Monkey Fiction has no track record, except that they say they're going to take a year and a half, and then they take longer than that. So until we start seeing those toys in hand, I'm going to be very, very skeptical of them. It's crazy to me. And yeah, that does sound cheap for a mini PC with those specs. That's why I'm like, huh? Like, that's pretty damn powerful. Like, I would love to have that hooked up to a television with a Bluetooth controller. That would be amazing. There's so much I would do with that. Because I already have a keyboard and a mouse with a wireless dongle and a Bluetooth controller dongle in the living room. I use it on my my Android TV for all kinds of stuff. And that would be, to have a dedicated PC for that would be like, oh, that would be great. And then you just put an external solid-state hard drive on that sucker, install a bunch of PC games on it, and woohoo! It's an Ace Magician one. Oh, so it's like all themed out weird and shit. No one wants it because of the case or whatever. That's funny. That's funny. Nah. Well, I know this wasn't like some revelatory show or anything, but I definitely wanted to get back on the horse, so to speak, and I wanted to make sure that I touched base with you guys, and that you guys really showed up. I was worried the algorithm was going to bury me today. I'm very grateful that it did not. More to come. Like, I'm not going anywhere. And certainly with the air being as cool as it is, it'll be easier to work on things in this room and others and have some fun yet again. So, love you guys to death, and we will see you next week almost certainly. And if needed in the meantime, let me know. Thank you to all my patrons and members, new and old, renewed and otherwise. And, yeah, hope all your cardbacks are straight. Hope all your grinds are merry. I hope you're able to get anything you're looking for at any given time at a price you feel is reasonable. I'm out for the week. We'll see you soon, guys. Love your faces. Be safe. Take care of each other. Cheers.